Ait-Nouri to Man City, is it a good transfer? In this video, we're going to break down how the left back fits into Guardiola's rebuild of Man City, if it's a good transfer. And at the end of the video, a little bit of a look at what the 11 could look like for Man City next season. It's looking very exciting. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, would really appreciate that. Ultimately, the deal looks very, very conservative. £33 million for one of the best left backs in the Premier League, and dare I say that I've seen in European football for the last few years. Every time you look at Wolves play, even if they've been struggling, even if they've been pushing up the table, Ait-Nouri has always been a 7 or an 8 out of 10. He's been absolutely fantastic since he's come in, and ultimately, he looks like a far more mature player than he actually is. He's so young. To sign a left back of the power, of the poise of Ait-Nouri, and he's 23, going on 24 years old. It's outstanding business. And I did a video talking about Kerkez to Liverpool, obviously another left back making a move this summer. Similar age, a little bit younger than Ait-Nouri, but that is a left back that can be there for many, many years. And I think Man City need this left back solution sorted in a big, big way. The transfer amount as well is very juicy, £33 million. You can't go wrong with that kind of amount. When you get over 50, maybe 60 in today's market, you can make a big mistake. It can be a hole in your squad if they don't work out, and it can be hard to ship them on. But Ait-Nouri for £33 million, it's the kind of deal that he can grow into the transfer. I'm hearing reports that his entourage were very emotional about the prospect of joining Manchester City. It looks like he's got a medical coming up very, very soon. This deal is imminent. So when a player is emotional, the squad around him are emotional to join, obviously the great manager in world football in Guardiola, the great sporting project in the Premier League, I think that is a very, very big sign. But again, for £33 million, it's absolutely outrageous business. This guy could be the Man City left back for the next 5 to 10 years. And I tell you now, as a City fan, the left back situation has actually never been fully addressed and fully covered since the takeover. It's absolutely outrageous when you think about it, because I can give you 5 strikers. You go Dzeko, Aguero, Tevez, Haaland. It goes on and on. Even Jesus, I thought at the time, was fantastic. All the midfielders, Fernandinho, Yaya Toure, Gareth Barry was fantastic. Obviously, De Bruyne, David Silva, Bernardo, Gundogan. I can give you probably every position on the pitch where the ownership at Man City have done an unbelievable job of signing outrageous talent all throughout the squad. I think the transfer strategy at Man City has been the best in world football in the last 10 years. And you leave your comments down below if you disagree with that. But the amount of value that Man City get out of transfer dealings, having all these players at their peak, David Silva, Aguero, Yaya, De Bruyne, all at their peak, stayed at Man City for many, many years. And then you think about the sell-on value from the City model, making a lot of revenue in player sales as well. But the one issue after all that spiel, the one issue has been left back. You always give props to Fabian Delph being the left back during the Centurion season. He was fantastic, but he's not a left back. Zinchenko the season after, in a 98-point season, he was good in that. He was good for a good spell of time, but nowhere near smart enough to be a left back, and obviously you could argue cost the Chelsea goal in the Champions League final, trying to play offside. He wasn't good enough defensively speaking. Last few years, Ake in the treble running, absolutely fantastic. I dare say he's been the best left back City have maybe ever had in my lifetime, and he's a centre back, and he's injury prone. Probably doesn't want to play there. So that alludes to how bad the situation's been. I think Gvardiol's been nearly as good, but then Ake achieved the treble as a left back. But Gvardiol's been fantastic. He's huge. He's 6'4", 6'5". He's obviously not a left back. He's obviously a centre back. And actually, last season, some big props to Gvardiol, because ultimately Gvardiol is now going to be the left-sided centre-back at Man City for many, many years. One of the most expensive centre-backs signings of all time. So Ait-Nouri comes in and actually fills a massive hole in the squad. I'm seeing tweets saying, oh, he's replacing Gvardiol. Embarrassing, a lack of understanding about the Man City squad. Gvardiol's been playing there because there's a lot of centre-backs at the club, and there are no left-backs. Go as far as back as Gael Clichy and Kolarov. These guys were fighting it out for many years. They could never really hold their own. Kolarov at points was really important, not a massive fan favourite. Gael Clichy, underrated, solid left back, but never that kind of having that ceiling to be one of the best left backs in the Premier League. And Ait-Nouri, I think, has the ability to be one of the best left backs in European football. The quality that this guy has on his left foot, he's so quick, he's so powerful, he's very, very smart defensively speaking, dynamic, can play in a 5 as a wing back. He's played a little bit less in a 4, but I think with Gvardiol next to him, who's so quick, so controlled, you're going to have a lot of the ball. He can just hug the touchline and bomb down the left-hand flank. Absolutely outrageous. 5 goals, 7 assists last season for a Wolves side that were really, really struggling. And ultimately, every time you watch Ait-Nouri, he is a standout player. He really is. And I'm surprised no one's come in for him because he's absolutely fantastic. He really is. I think the fullback situation at Man City, I think it got to a little bit of a head last season, because when you're struggling, sometimes you can just give Trent the ball, for example. Maybe you can give Nuno Mendes the ball if you're PSG and you're struggling. A fullback can get you out of little situations if they're top draw. When you're struggling and you've got a centre-back playing left-back or a centre-back playing right-back, it isn't ideal. It makes you a little bit slower, a little bit less robust. Nico O'Reilly was fantastic at left back. I think there's a big role for him maybe in midfield, coming in and out of the side. Maybe a centre back. I could see him being a centre back, but not for me, not a left back. And I think you'll look at Luis Enrique. I think Guardiola will look at his compatriot, obviously former teammate, what he's done at PSG. Obviously, Luis Enrique beat Guardiola last season. And you look at Nuno Mendes, you're looking at Hakimi. They can arrive in the box. They can put unbelievable balls on a platter. Sometimes Mendes is doing that for Hakimi on the other side. And that's what's won the Champions League, not playing the kind of 3 centre-backs or John Stones in midfield. It feels maybe a little bit dated. It worked at the time. And now I think there'll be this kind of going back to bombing on full-backs, having 2 centre-backs, keeping a lot of the ball, loads of midfielders to pack the midfield, but full-backs that bomb forward. And Ait-Nouri is a part of that. You look at Kerkez going to Liverpool, Frimpong going to Liverpool. I think there's a world that City sign a right-back as well, Livramento bombing forward. It's exciting times, and Ait-Nouri is a massive, massive part of that. The City side next season looks very, very juicy. Ait-Nouri on one side, I'm praying for Livramento on the other side. I think whether it's a Kanji, Ake, Diaz, Stones, Gvardiol, probably one of them has to go. But the 2 centre-backs, then you've got Rodri, Reinders, outrageous. Cherki in midfield, and Phil Foden obviously coming back with Erling Haaland as well down the middle. And then I think, actually, just to round up, I think Marmoush could play off the left. I've been slagged off a little bit on Twitter for saying that and on some of these videos on this channel. But I think Marmoush could operate on the left, cutting in, having a free roll on his right foot, a little bit like a winger, and having someone like Ait-Nouri overlapping him and giving him that space to run inside, because Ait-Nouri is occupying the space on the outside and challenging the right back and making the right back and the centre back think about the overlap, if that makes sense. And I think Marmoush could play off the left. The big thing for Ait-Nouri, his crossing ability is outrageous. A bit like what I was saying about Kerkez yesterday. And I think his crossing ability to Haaland will give Haaland an extra tool to his arsenal. Because obviously he still had a decent season, Haaland, scored a load of goals. But at times he looked a little bit lost without that big ball coming in from De Bruyne around the corner. Ait-Nouri gives you that from the other side. It's just not been right. It's not been right there for many, many years. Kyle Walker has been exceptional. He's been outstanding. But really, you need a left-back as well to make it balanced. Look at Liverpool, look at PSG. They've got bombing fullbacks. It's about time City have one. I think Ait-Nouri is a fantastic deal. Leave your thoughts down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you very, very soon.